Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name is Bob, I'll be your host. And in any good role playing game, it's good to have things for your players to go up against, which usually takes the form of different creatures and monsters that they can run into and either work with or slay or whatever the situation may call for when using said creatures. In this video, we're going to look at a book full of creatures for a role playing game. We're going to look at D6 Fantasy Creatures. This book has 96 pages and a copyright of 2004. It was published by West End Games, and all of the artwork in this book is in black and white and is fairly decent. So let's go ahead and look at that artwork. All of the artwork in this book is in black and white. And it's pretty decent artwork as well. And it gives a good mix of creatures in this book, both mundane creatures like this bear, and monstrous creatures like this gargoyle shown here. Every creature in this book has its own picture, so you have a good idea of what it looks like beyond the description. And look at this troll. I like this troll. This is probably the creepiest troll I've ever seen in a game anywhere. To use this book, what you're going to need is, of course, a copy of this book and a copy of the core rule book for the D6 Fantasy role-playing game. You're also going to need as many six-sided dice as you can get your hands on. Now, this book has over 80 different creatures that you can add to your game. Some are intelligent creatures, others are just animalistic and monsters. The dragons in this book, instead of being broken up into chromium and metallic and then all the different colors that lie within, the dragons are pretty much tied to elements. You got air, earth, fire, and water dragons. You also have oriental dragons and skeleton dragons. This book also provides you with 6 brand new spells that you can add to your game. And the spells are placed throughout the book with the creature that they most be associated with, such as the animating skeleton spell would be with the skeletons. This book has some weird stuff in it. There is a place in this book where it's called Minions of Evil, and that has several creatures under that heading, and those would be the goblins, the gnolls, the orcs, the ogres, and the bugbears. Now, there's been a lot of controversy in the recent past about intelligent creatures being cast as evil, but this book was written long before people were doing that, before it became a big thing. But anyway, it's pretty neat. It's got all kinds of neat stuff. It's got mundane creatures in it, such as dogs, cats, bulls, snakes, and so forth. Giant versions of them as well. It's got your monsters in it, and it's pretty neat. That's pretty much all there is to it. There's a conversion chart in the back so that you can convert the creatures in this book to the other D6 game lines that are out there, such as D6 Adventure and D6 Space, which is pretty handy. And that's really about it. Which brings me to 3 questions. Would I use the creatures in this book for a game that I'm running? And I would have to say yes. There's a lot of creatures to add to your game in this book. Would I run a game using this book? And again, yes, I would. This book is almost a must-have if you're playing the game. Would I recommend this book? And I'm going to say yes. Like I said, this book is pretty much a must-have if you're going to run the D6 Fantasy role-playing game. There's a few creatures in the D6 Fantasy game, but not a whole lot. And this would definitely be very useful to fill in your fantasy setting. And the neat part is the intelligent creatures in this book, using the rules in the core book for putting together new races, you could use that and use the intelligent beings in this book as new races for your player characters, which would definitely be handy. So that's pretty much all I got to say for D6 Fantasy Creatures right now. Thank you for joining me at a look at this book, and hopefully you'll join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye.